Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Yeah, today we'll see demo 2. So in demo 2 also, I just took two topics, two specific topics, how we are going to train, to just tell you like how we are going to train and how you guys need to prepare. So the first topic I took is rust, in general rust, not specific rust, in general. Second topic is I took is blast. So now we will see, we'll start with rust. So generally rust fungi comes under Basidiomycota, right? So rust comes under Basidiomycota. The order is Puccineales. So now it is actually classified under Puccineales, but previously it is under Iridiales. This is also important one. In exams we do expect like rust actually in the previous classification it is classified under Iridiales. In the present classification it is classified under Puccineales. And in rust, in terms, if you see in UG, we might have studied only one important genera, that is Puccinia. There are various other important genera of rust there. Rust are there. For example, you can take Puccinia, Hemilia, Euromyces, Melomsora, Pacospora, Phragmidium, Gymnosprangium. So these all are rust genera only. Okay, and among all these genera that what I have told now, the Puccinia is the one of the largest genera that was followed by Euromyces, which means 70%, more than 70% of the rust diseases are responsible by this Puccinia genera. So which means this Puccinia alone is responsible, this Puccinia alone is causing 70 and above percentage of plant diseases. And if you see the types of rust cycles include, different types of rust cycles include generally the microcyclic rust, macrocyclic rust, demicyclic, autoecious rust, heteroecious rust. There are a couple of types are there. Now I will tell you. So first of all, before understand this, we must know some basics. Microcyclic and macrocyclic. What is this microcyclic and macrocyclic? Macro means big, in that way. In generally, macronutrients means the nutrients which are required by the plant in a large quantities, that is called macronutrient. Micro means in a little portion or little amount is required in general. Okay, right? So if you see here, macro means big generally, right? So when it comes to macrocyclic, cyclic means cycle, general, right? So in the rust, macro means all the five spore or all the five stages of rust spores are present. All the five spore stages are present actually. But microcyclic means not all the five spore stages are present. Maybe one or maybe sometimes more than one stages are missing. Micro means all five stages are not present. Maybe one or maybe two stages are absent. So out of five stages, maybe three stages are present, or sometimes maybe only four stages are present, but one stage is absent. Maybe one or more than one. That is called microcyclic. So majority of the times it lacks both axial stage and as well as the iridial stage. Especially when we see in the case of Puccinia malvacearum, so the pathogen lacks both axial and iridial stage. Micro means all five stages are not present. Maybe one or maybe two stages are absent. Macrocyclic means all five spore stages are present. First of all, we must understand how many spore stages are there in rust cycle. There are five spore stages are present: pycnial, axial, iridial, teleal, and basidial, right? So these are all the five spore stages are present in the rust life cycle. If all five spore stages are present, or the fungi is producing this all five spore stages, we can call it as macrocyclic. Microcyclic means any one of the spore stage is absent. Maybe one spore stage or maybe two spore stages are absent. Especially in the case of, if you see Puccinia malvacearum, the pathogen lacks axial and both iridial stage. And another important point is, if you see here, demicyclic, this is a very important one. I wrote net for 5 times. I saw this question 3 times in the net, not 4 times, actually 4 times, I think 18-1, 18-2, and 21 and 23. This question was asked. Very important. Demicyclic means lack of iridial stage or lack of iridospore stage is known as demicyclic. So if the pathogen is lacking iridial stage or iridospore stage, it is known as a demicyclic. And the next one is autoecious rust. Autoecious, which means the pathogen requires or completes the entire life cycle in a single host. If the pathogen is completing the life cycle in a single host, it is called as autoecious rust. If the pathogen requires two different hosts, that is called heteroecious. The name itself indicates hetero. Hetero means a different host. And we must remember something here. This different two hosts I told you, right? Hetero means a different host. Here, the two hosts, main host and secondary host, which are belonging to completely unrelated families. For example, you see wheat stem rust. Wheat stem rust is caused by Puccinia graminis triticale. The primary host or the main host is wheat. What is the alternate host or secondary host? That is barberry. If you see wheat belonging to the family of Poaceae, what about the barberry? Barberry belonging to the family of Barbaraceae, which means in the heteroecious rust, especially in the case of wheat stem rust, the pathogen requires two different hosts, which is biologically unrelated, which means not belonging to the same families. That's why it is called as heteroecious rust. I will do one thing, just a minute. Uh, yeah, I will do one more thing. Here, five things we have discussed, right? Microcyclic, macrocyclic, macrocyclic, right? And autoecious, heteroecious. Last one is demicyclic something, right? The first one is what is microcyclic. Not all five spore stages are present. Maybe one or two spore stages are absent. That is called microcyclic. When it comes to macrocyclic, all five spore stages are present. That is called macrocyclic. All five spore stages are present. Autoecious means the pathogen completes the entire life cycle in a single host. One host is enough to complete the entire life cycle. That is called autoecious. Hetero means different, which means the pathogen requires two different hosts to complete the life cycle. That is called heteroecious. And demicyclic means lack of iridial stage. Very, very important one. Lack of iridial stage is known as demicyclic. So again, I'm just going back here. We have discussed five different terminologies. That is actually types. Microcyclic means all five spore stages are not present. Maybe one or two is absent. When it comes to macrocyclic, all five spore stages are present in the rust life cycle. That is called macrocyclic. Demicyclic means very important one. Lack of iridial stage, especially lack of iridospore stage or iridial stage is known as demicyclic. Autoecious means the complete entire life cycle can be completed in a single host. Heteroecious means the pathogen requires two different hosts. So these are all the basic terminologies and the general life cycles in the rust fungi. Okay. So why this is necessary, I will tell you. Yeah, three different types of rust. Before entering into this rust, what are all the three important types of rust? I hope everyone will know this. So what are all the important points we need to take into consideration, that I will now tell you. So stem rust, so sometimes they are asking alternate names also. Wheat stem rust is otherwise called as black rust. Black rust and stem rust both are same only, okay, not different. When it comes to leaf rust is otherwise called as orange rust, also known as brown rust, because the pustules are somewhat a little bit brown in color. That's why it's called as brown rust. Leaf rust, otherwise called as orange rust, also known as brown rust. The last one is the stripe rust. Stripe rust is also known as yellow rust, otherwise called as sheath rust. Very important one. Yeah, this question was asked once. Not in national eligibility test. I think in one of the SRF exam, this question was asked. IRI. Entrance exam, something like that, this question was asked. So which of the following rust is also known as a sheath rust, stripe rust? So the alternate name of this stripe rust is the sheath rust. Okay. Another thing, causal organism, you guys know very well. Wheat stem rust is also known caused by Puccinia graminis triticale, whereas leaf rust is caused by Puccinia rigondita and Puccinia triticina, whereas stripe rust is caused by Puccinia striformis. Now, exactly exam oriented things I am telling you. Appearance, this is an important one. Generally, stem rust appears generally at March and April time in the plains. But when it comes to leaf rust, that is happens in the January. And when it comes to stripe rust, that starts in December to January. That's why this stripe rust is the earliest rust in India. So that actually happens for the, compared to the all other rust, the first infection starts with this stripe rust only. Okay. Another very important thing, alternate host. What is the wheat stem rust alternate host? Barberry. You also make sure of this. The scientific name of this barberry, Barberries or Berberis vulgaris. So Barberries vulgaris or Berberis vulgaris is the scientific name. Okay. And when it comes to this leaf rust, the alternate host of leaf rust is Thalictrum species, or sometimes Isopyran fumarides is also responsible. And a very important thing is leaf rust. So many of the citations and many of the publications are quoting that the alternate host for stripe rust is unknown, but some of the areas it is reported that this Thalictrum species is involved in this stripe rust spread as an alternate host. But as far of my research are like collecting the information, the stripe rust alternate host is unknown, but some of the articles it is also mentioned that still it is updating. So but the alternate host it is a very very important. For stem rust it is a barberry or mahonia. For leaf rust is a Thalictrum species or Isopyran fumarides, and sheath rust is an unknown, sometimes it is Thalictrum species or maybe Isopyran fumarides also. And another important thing is collateral was not a big deal. Yeah. Temperatures, very very important temperatures. Generally, this is stripe rust, stem rust that can survive at high temperature, like around I would say 25 to 30, or within between 20 to 30 to can survive. But leaf rust a little bit low temperature, 15 to 22, right? But the lowest temperature the required for the iridospore development is the stripe rust. So stripe rust requires 7 to 15 degrees Celsius. This is a very very important one. So the remaining thing you guys nothing to worry about it, forget about it. Maybe generally you can also take a consideration of the color of this iridospore. Hope you guys know. Generally in stem rust they will produce golden yellow color, and when it comes to leaf rust it is generally brown in color because the pustules are brown color, right? So stripe rust, generally yellow rust is otherwise called as, because the pustules are yellow in color, so it is automatically it is producing yellow to orange color things. So here the points what we need to take into consideration is, here 3 points are very very important. What is another name? Stem rust is otherwise called as black rust. Leaf rust is otherwise called as orange rust. Yeah, I will remove this for our for easy. Yeah, it is otherwise called as leaf rust. Yes. So leaf rust is otherwise called as orange rust or brown rust, whereas stripe rust is otherwise called as yellow rust or sheath rust. And one more thing is, majority of the time the questions are falling from this alternate host only. What is the alternate host for stem rust of wheat, barberry? Or what is the alternate host for leaf rust, Thalictrum species or Isopyran fumarides? Like that, they are mostly asking alternate hosts. That is a very very important point we must take into consideration. Yeah. Another couple of important points related to this rust. Previously, what we have discussed here, what we have discussed is generally to rust belonging to Puccineals. Previously, it is belonging to Iridiales, right? So important genera, Puccine and all those things are there. Among all the genera, Puccinia is one of the largest genera, which is responsible for 70% of the diseases, as I told, right? Now, in continuation, generally the first rust appearing in India is brown rust or orange rust. See, it is actually leaf rust. It is actually first appears leaf rust, that is followed by sorry, I think just a minute. Yeah, it was wrongly mentioned here. Originally, the first rust that is happening in India is yellow rust only. Okay, so one more point. Yeah, another thing is alternate host for yellow rust is not known. And when it comes to coffee rust is caused by Hemilia vastatrix. You might have studied this. Coffee rust is one of the epidemic in Sri Lanka around 1867 time, right? And this coffee rust life cycle, there is one scientist which was associated with this study of this coffee rust life cycle is H.M. Ward. Who is this H.M. Ward? He is also a student of Anton de Berry. We might have signed this demo class one, right? Yeah, and the important point is, for this coffee rust, no acial stage have been discovered so far, and the lack of iridial stage is known as demicyclic. You just now we have discussed what is demicyclic. Lack of iridial stage is known as demicyclic, and this question was a repeatedly asked question, very very important one. What is demicyclic? Lack of iridial stage, or lack of iridial stage is generally known as demicyclic, like that. Okay, and among all the 5 spore stages, there is a one spore called iridospore, otherwise called as a repeating spore, because it can cause auto infection. Keep on repeating without other spore stages also. This iridospore can repeat the infection. That is why it's called as a repeating spore, because it is causing the auto infection. Auto infection in the sense, without having the further stages of spores, this iridospore itself can survive and can cause the further infection in the upcoming seasons. That is why it's called as a repeating spore. Okay, and rust either autoecious or heteroecious. Maybe autoecious are there, maybe heteroecious. For example, if you see heteroecious rust, best example is wheat stem rust. Wheat stem rust is the best example for heteroecious rust. And regarding this rust, there is a small festival. See, what I am trying to tell you is what are all the points that is connecting the rust, I am telling. Okay, so if you have the all the points that is connecting to rust, that will be very easy for the preparation, right? That's what I am telling. So this is just a demo only. Okay, and when it comes to, there is one festival called Robigolia, which is actually related to cereal rust, most importantly wheat stem rust. And you guys know very well, this is in April 25, this Robigolia used to celebrate. It was a very old ritual. And let's see this about something about Robigolia, since Robigolia came. Yeah, this is something about Robigolia. Generally, Robigolia is one of the very ancient Roman festival that is used to appraise for a god called Robigus. Male god is called Robigus, female god is called Robigo. So the disease, sorry, actually the festival was initiated by a king called King Numa Pompilus. The king name is Numa Pompilus, who initiated a festival called Robigolia. This Rabigolia used to celebrate to ward off the rust diseases. In that time, people don't know how this disease is coming, because what they believe at the time is rust is coming to our field just because of curse of God. Because those who are doing the wrong things or wrong sins, they will get the rust disease. That is how the people used to believe at the old time. And the king, there is a king called Numa Pompilus. In order to protect their cereal crops, or in order to protect their wheat crop from the rust disease, they initiated a ritual, or they initiated a festival called Robigolia. So this Robigolia name is came from a male god. We can also call it as masculine god. Masculine god means male god. Okay, female god Robigo. From the male god Robigos, the festival named as Robigolia. So generally it is associated with cereal rust, especially wheat stem rust. And another important point, it was celebrated by Romans. Okay, it was celebrated by Romans, not French or something else. Please make sure that it was celebrated by Romans, because this question was asked in one of the exam. Robigolia is the festival especially related or specific to which people, like that they have asked, like Romans, Brazilians, Americans, like that they have asked. Actually, it is a Roman, not in the net. In some of the exam, this question was asked. And another thing is Robigo or Robigus or Robigo. It is a Roman deity where for rust and blights they used to celebrate. And another important point is they used to sacrifice some of the animals like red dogs. Why only red dogs? Because these red dogs are easily available in the streets, so that they will just capture it and they will kill at the time. I would say sacrifices at the time. So red dogs, foxes, and cows. Now for exam orientation, it is simply I have given in the tabular column. Take a look at this Robigolia, how this Robigolia came into a god called Robigus, why they are celebrating for the cereal rust disease, who initiated this disease, this festival, King Numa Pompilus, uh, who celebrate this festival, Romans. So it is their Roman ritual. When in the modern times we are celebrating this festival April 25. See, actually this Robigolia festival was initiated by King Numa Pompilus in 700 BC. Just imagine, it's been almost 3000 years, 2700 or around 2700 years to now since the festival was initiated. Borders changed, kingdoms changed, kings changed, but still this custom was continuing by this Roman people. In the modern time, we are celebrating this festival in not us, this Romans celebrating this festival in April 25. Actually, it is one of their agriculture holiday in the Roman calendar. There are 4 5 agricultural holidays are there. Robigolia, Ceralia, Floralia, like that. There are 5 holidays were there. I will show you just a minute. What are all the 5 holidays were there? I will show you. Yeah, take a look into this. There are 5 Roman uh, agriculture festivals are there in the Roman calendar. Okay, these all are agriculture festivals in the Roman calendar. The first one is Ceralia, used to celebrate in the time between April 12 to April 19. This is actually concerning with all kinds of crops. So in order to protect their all kinds of crops, people used to do a festival called Ceralia. that is actually falls between April 12 to April 19th. There is another festival called Forsythia, that is happens in April 15th, generally regarding the herbaceous crops. There is another festival called Parilla, that is actually happens in conducted in April 21st. So generally for flocks like animals. So another festival, the festival that is related to is Robigolia, that is generally used to celebrate on April 25th of every year. It is used to protect their crop from the rust disease. Very very important one. Like there is a last festival called Floralia, generally used to celebrate on April 28th of every year. Just imagine there are how many festivals, especially agriculture related festivals, are there in the Roman calendar. Then you can ask me like whether these festivals are still celebrating. Of course, yes, still the Romans are celebrating. If you want, you can also go and watch a couple of videos are there in YouTube channels, in not my YouTube, in somewhere else. You just type Rabigolia or Seralia, Floralia, still they are celebrating these festivals. Anyway, in exam orientation, we do study like this, like Robigolia, Robigus, Rust disease, Kingdom of Pompilus, Roman ritual, April 25th of every year, used to sacrifice red dogs, sheep, foxes, and cows. But the major important one is the red dogs, because in the streets they used to get at these. Yeah. And we have discussed something like autoecious rust, heteroecious rust, macrocyclic rust, or microcyclic rust. I'm just combining autoecious, macrocyclic rust. What is autoecious? Autoecious means the pathogen complete life cycle in a single host is called autoecious. What is a macrocyclic? All five spore stages are present, but all five spore stages are completed in a single host, that is called autoecious macrocyclic rust. Example is BFSSC. This is a simple code only for our understanding. You can take B means bean rust. Bean rust is caused by Euromyces appendiculatus. F means flaxseed rust, which is caused by Melamsora lini. There is another important point. This flax rust or Melamsora rust, gene for gene hypothesis was discovered by H.H. Floor in this rust only. Flax rust or linseed rust, which is caused by Melamsora lini, right? S means sunflower rust, which is caused by Fuchsinia helianthi. Another S means safflower rust, which is caused by Fuchsinia carthami. C means castor rust, which is caused by Melamsora ricini. All these are the best examples of autoecious and macrocyclic rust. Why all this stuff? Then you can ask me is, generally in exams they may give one of the option by mentioning castor rust is falls under which of the following kind of life cycle: autoecious macrocyclic rust, heteroecious macrocyclic rust, autoecious demicyclic rust. In that way they will ask the questions. That's why I have given. You just study autoecious macrocyclic rust means there are 5 examples are there. These 5 examples are very very important one. Okay. So if they were mentioning only one and asking what kind of life cycle it is, this is falls under autoecious macrocyclic rust. And this is a very 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 important one. And there must be one question in at least once in our or or once in every 1 year, or maybe once in every 2 years. Okay. Autoecious. Next one is the demicyclic. What is the demicyclic? Lack of uridial stage is known as a demicyclic. Autoecious means what? All spore stages are completed in a same host. Here demicyclic means uridial stage is absent, which means 4 stages are present, because uridia is absent, right? So these 4 stages that happens in a main host or one host, that is called autoecious demicyclic. Best example is rubus orange rust. Very 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 important one. Rubus orange rust is caused by, so rubus orange rust is caused by Gymnoconia peckiana or Gymnoconia nitens. So in exams we do expect like this, like rubus orange rust is an example of autoecious demicyclic rust. Or autoecious demicyclic, which of the following pathogen is the best example for autoecious demicyclic rust? Rubus orange rust. Very very important one. And this one is a phenomenal one, and repeatedly asked question. The best example for heteroecious macrocyclic rust is wheat stem rust. Hetero means different, two different hosts, all 5 spore stages are completing, which means to complete the life cycle of the pathogen, the fungi requires two different hosts are biologically unrelated hosts. That's why it is called as heteroecious macrocyclic. Best example is wheat stem rust. So what is the main host of wheat? Sorry, what is the main host of this wheat stem rust? Wheat. What is the secondary host or alternate host? Barberry. So what is the alternate host? Alternate host for this wheat stem rust is barberry. Very very important, since we have already discussed earlier also. So that's why it is called heteroecious macrocyclic rust. Two different hosts, all 5 spore stages are finishing. Another important one is white pine blister rust, which is caused by Cronartium rubicola. In 2019, I think this question was asked. They have asked the direct question: white pine blister rust is caused by, or blister rust is caused by. They are asking caused by Cronartium rubicola. So the pathogens also very very important. Another important one is heterogeneous demicyclic. Heterogeneous means the pathogen requires two different hosts or biological unrelated hosts, but iridial stage is absent. Because demicyclic means what? Lack of iridial stage is known as demicyclic rust. The best example is car. You remember we are driving car. That car you remember. Car means cedar apple rust. Cedar apple rust is caused by Gymnosporangium juniperi verzinane. This is very 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 important one. And this was asked what is the causal organism for this cedar apple rust. Cedar apple rust is caused by Gymnosporangium juniperi verzinane. It is actually comes under this heterogeneous demicyclic rust. See, nothing to worry about it. Now we are going a little bit, just since it is a demo, I'm going a little bit faster. I will provide you the PPT for every single upcoming class. You go through. Even after going through the PPT, or maybe listening the class, still you have a doubts persist, you are free to ask, no problem at all. Now you just listen. You might have studied this in UG and PG also, but I'm just discussing in exam orientation way only, nothing else. Okay. So here causal organisms also important. They will ask what is the sunflower rust is caused by Puccinia helianthi, safflower rust is caused by Puccinia carthami, flaxseed rust is caused by Melomsora lini. Okay, like that maybe we do expect causal organisms also. Okay, and another one is the alternate host for cedar apple rust. Generally cedar apple rust alternate host is apple only. Okay, demicyclic means just now I told you lack of iridial stage is known as demicyclic. Coming to the other thing, so we are discussing five spore stages are there. Five spore stages are, what are all these five spore stages? See, this pycniospore, yeah, just a minute. Yeah, so there are five spore stages. First one is pycniospore, Aciospore, Iridospore, Teleospore, and Basidiospore. These are all are the five spore stages. It is denominated with the Roman letters. Pycniospore stage 0. Why they have stage 0? Because actually this first Aciospore, Iridospore, Teleospore, and Basidiospore was actually first discovered. So at final in 1927 only, there is a scientist called Craig who actually identified the importance of this pycnial stage. That's why rather than putting this stage is the fifth stage, this is actually the prime stage. That's why they named as a 0 stage. Okay, pycnial stage or pycniospores 0 stage, acial stage or aciospores stage 1, iridospores stage 2, teleospores stage 3, basidiospores stage 4. In sometimes they will ask what is the fourth stage, or maybe what is the third stage of this wheat stem rust, or maybe teleospores comes under which stage, stage 1 or stage 2 or stage 3 or stage 0 or stage 4, like that they will ask. And here this pycniospore produces one germ pore. Germ pore means germination spores, like hope you guys know germination, right? So aciospore means 6 germ pores it will produce. Iridospore means 4 germ pore, nothing else. This is the iridospore. If the pathogen is producing only one germ pore or germination structure, if the one it is producing, it is pycniospore. If the aciospore is producing 6 germination pore, it is a aciospore. It will produce 6. Iridospore it will produce 4. 4 germination different structures. Okay. Teleospores 2, basidiospores 1. Very 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 important thing is the color of the spore. This pycniospore is hyaline. What is hyaline? Can anyone tell what is hyaline?
Colorless.
Yes, exactly.
Colorless.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Colorless, or we can also call as white color. But the terminology what you mentioned is right. Colorless. That is exact terminology. But for our convenience, we do remember in a way that it is white in color or colorless. Okay. Aciospores are generally yellow in color. I would say light yellow in color, not dark yellow in color, because I saw this aciospore in microscope. It is a light yellow in color, not dark yellow, light yellow. You remember yellow. Okay. Iridospore, golden brown. Exactly, it look like a golden brown. Teleospores, generally black in color. I would say dark brown in color, black or maybe dark brown in color. Okay. Basidiospores is also hyaline. Generally hyaline means white. So this is color of the spore stages is also very very important one. Because what is the color of the teleospore? A, white, B, yellow, green, red, or something like that they will ask. The teleospore is black in color. And remember, among all the 5 spore stages, there is only one spore which is bicelled. Which spore is bicelled? Among all,
Iridospore.
which spore? Can anyone among all the 5 spore stages? Teliospore, exactly. I will show you. I don't know whether I have. Yeah, take a look at this. This is one of the picture that was drawn by my student. Actually, I guided her to like for drawing this picture. We have also published this picture in online. And to draw this picture, we have almost 10-15 times we have destroyed this. Again, we keep on improving. Just imagine how how beautifully she drawn. So take a look at this. This is actually teliospore. You can take a look at this basidiospore. You can take a look at this pycniospores, achiospores. This is iridospore. See, all the spores are single celled except one spore that is a bicelled, that is a teliospore. In exams, we do expect among all the 5 spore stages of rust, which spore is a bicelled? Teliospore. Teliospore is always bicelled. In all the cases, teliospore, majority of the cases, not majority of the cases, all the cases, teliospore is bicelled. There is only one spore stage or one spore in the entire life cycle of rust or wheat stem rust, which is bicelled, that is teliospore. Okay, yeah. So here the condition, nuclear condition, pycniospores are haploid, achiospores are dikaryote. Dikaryote means n plus n. Iridospore is also n plus n. Take a look at this. Teliospores are diploid. It can exist in haploid condition, in the meantime diploid also. And basidiospores are generally haploid. And hope you guys know the pycniospores are formed on the upper surface of barberry, whereas achiospores are formed on the lower surface of barberry. If you see if you see iridospores and teliospores, both will form on the upper surface of wheat. I will show you here. Take a look at this. This is the barberry host. Okay, on the upper surface pycniospores are formed. This is the cross section of the leaf. This is the cross section of the leaf. Take a look at this. In the upper side, pycniospore is forming. In the exact lower side, achiospores are forming. Okay, so that's why they have mentioned on the upper side of barberry pycniospore, on the lower side of barberry achiospore. If you see the wheat, both iridospores and teliospores are happens on the upper surface of the leaf only. That's why it is mentioned. It is also very very important. In which side or in which surface these achiospores are formed? I'm just telling you the way they, they can also ask this kind of questions. In fact, they have asked this. That's why I'm telling. So okay, now you have a little bit clarity. Pycniospores upper surface, take a look at this. This is the pycniospores upper surface. And achiospores lower surface. Take a look at this. This is the achiospore. It is a lower surface of barberry. This is barberry. And another thing is both iridospores and teliospores are happens in upper surface on the primary host, that is called wheat. Okay, for easy understanding, this tabular column is more than enough. Rust produces iridospore. Iridospores are repeating spore. Iridospores are also known as the summer spore. The condition is n plus n. The color is golden brown, which is a single cell. For the management of rust disease, there is a specific fungicide called oxycarboxyn. The trade name of oxycarboxyn is plant wax. Here every single line, every single point is important. Rust iridospore, what is the specific fungicide recommended for rust? Oxycarboxyn. This question was asked out of the law in the last 10 years. This question was asked 3 to 4 times in a different direction. How? I will tell you. What is the specific fungicide for rust? It is oxycarboxyn. And oxycarboxyn is also known to be the first systemic fungicide. Hope you guys know. World's first systemic fungicide, that is a oxanthin group of fungicide. There are two fungicides are there in the oxanthin, oxycarboxyn and carboxyn. When we discuss this, the fungicides in plant disease management, there I will tell you in detail. But you remember the specific fungicide for rust disease is oxycarboxyn. The trade name of oxycarboxyn is plant wax. This oxycarboxyn is the world's first systemic fungicide that was developed by Van Schemling and Marshall Kulka in 1966. This question was also asked. World's first systemic fungicide belonging to oxanthin group. There are two fungicides are there in the oxanthin group, oxycarboxyn and carboxyn. Who developed the world's first systemic fungicide? Van Schemling and Marshall Kulka. Year 1966. Year is also important. Anyway, I have not mentioned this point here, but I am generally telling. So which means one, if we are studying some topic, why can't we gather all the necessary information related to the topic, and then we will study? It will be, yeah. Can you please mute your mic? Smriti, can you please mute your mic? Yeah, thank you. Okay, so this rust specific fungicide is oxycarboxyn, trade name is Plantvax. This oxycarboxyn is also known to be the world's first systemic fungicide, and that was developed by Van Schemling and Marshall Kulka 1966. Okay, so when it comes to smut, generally smut produces teleospores. Teleospores are also known as resting spores, also known as winter spores. The condition is N plus N, we can also call it as 2N, and the color of this teleospore is black or dark brown in color. The teleospore is bicelled, and we can also call it as teltospore. The specific fungicide recommended for smut is carboxyn. The trade name of carboxyn is Vitavax or Vitavax. So rust specific fungicide oxycarboxyn, the trade name is Plantvax. Smut specific fungicide is carboxyn or Vitavax. This question was a repeatedly asked question when it comes to SRF exam also. Yeah, coming to this picture, for your just understanding, I just placed this picture, and I am really thankful to my student Smiley Samyukta who drew this picture. It is exactly look like a print representation, right? Yeah, so there are a couple of types of teleospores are there, like however this teleospore is looking. So based on the based on the shape of the teleospore, this there are some kinds are there, like what are the pathogen it is producing. So when it comes to single celled teleospore, which means the teleospore consists of only one cell. So majority of the cases the majority of the cases the teleospore consists of double celled or more than one cell, but very few cases, like in the case of uromyces, it consists of only one cell. This question was asked in 2018 1 and 18 2. This question was asked. I will show you the previous year question papers. Yeah, single celled teleospore is produced by uromyces. Melomsora, actually Melomsora, even though it is a crust like teleospore, but the condition of this cell is single celled only. All these are existing in a single celled condition only, even though they are packed together, but this is a single celled only. Another important one is Pacospora. If you want, you can also remove this, but remember this uromyces, very, 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 very important. Now, can anyone will tell a disease which is caused by uromyces? Can anyone will tell disease which is caused by uromyces? Uromyces. Yeah, see, we have discussed it here. Take a look at this. Yeah, first thing, bean rust is caused by, take a look at this, bean rust is caused by uromyces appendiculatus. Bean rust is caused by, like that also, they will also ask different things, right? So generally this uromyces produces single celled teleospore, which consists of only one cell. Double celled teleospore is produced by, very important one, it is one of the phenomenal example, and this question was also asked many times in SRF and as well as NET. Best example is Puccinia, another example is gymnosporangium also. Okay, so multi-celled teleospore, which means there are more than two cells or more than 4 5 or maybe 7 8 cells are also present. Best example is Phragmidium. You take a look at this, this is single celled uromyces, double celled Puccinia, and if you see multi-celled teleospore, Phragmidium. And another point is that turnip shaped teleospore or kidney shaped iridospore is produced by Hemilia. Can anyone will tell a genera which causes Hemilia causing disease? Yeah, coffee rust is caused by Hemilia vastatrix. See here, take a look at this turnip shaped teleospore. The teleospore is a turnip shaped and kidney shaped. It is exactly look like this, kidney shaped. So kidney shaped iridospore or turnip shaped teleospore is produced by Hemilia. This is a very, 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 very important one. Kidney shaped is otherwise called as hump beaked, because this question was asked in 2018 in an indirect way. They have never asked directly. Hump beaked iridospore is produced by Hemilia. The answer is Hemilia. Hump beaked iridospore or kidney shaped, both are same only. Turnip shaped teleospore or kidney shaped iridospore or hump beaked iridospore, which is produced by Hemilia only. Hemilia causing disease, Hemilia vastatrix. That is coffee rust, or you can also call as coffee leaf rust, no problem. And crust like teleospore, which is caused by Melomsora. Take a look at this crust like, actually why it is called, however we have a layers in the earth, one on one. In the meantime, these teleospores also exactly packed and attached to one-on-one. That's why it is called as crust-like teleospore. The best example is Melomsora. And our last example is parachute-like teleospore, Ravinelia. Take a look at this. This teleospore is exactly look like a parachute. You guys might have saw the different kinds of parachute, but this is a little bit some kind of look like a globus. But if you see in a multi-dimensional way, It is exactly look like globose only. Okay, so this is exactly representing like a parachute. That's why it is called as parachute like teliospore. Best example is Ravenelia. Now tell me one disease that is caused by each genera. I will start with just a minute. Mm, just a minute. Uh, yeah, yeah. We'll start with this uromyces. Uromyces causing disease, one disease. Just now we have discussed bean rust. What about Melamsora? Yeah, linseed rust, Melamsora lini. Yeah, when you are studying this, you can recall other things also. Okay, linseed rust, Melamsora lini. This Melamsora lini produces what kind of teleospore? What kind of teleospore this Melamsora produces? Hey, here I have mentioned, man, crust like teliospore, crust like teliospore. Okay, and gene for gene hypothesis was discovered in this linseed rust only. Who discovered gene for gene hypothesis? H.H. Flor, 1946. Yeah. Like that, we can recall. It will be very easy. Okay, so this Pacospora. Can anyone will tell this is caused by Pacospora? Exactly. Super. Soybean rust is caused by Pacospora pachyrizae. Puccinia diseases, everyone knows wheat stem rust. Can anyone will tell this gymnosporangium causing disease? Cedar apple rust. Just now we discussed it. Cedar apple rust is caused by Gymnosporangium juniperei resinane. What about Phragmidium? Exactly. Phragmidium mucronatum. And the next one is turnip shape. Okay, sorry. Hemilia. We discussed it, right? Hemilia vastator, coffee rust. What about Melamsora? We have already discussed Melamsora, linseed rust, right? Ravenelia, minor disease, but I will show you. Yeah, hope you guys. Yeah. See, another important thing is alternate host. What is the difference between collateral host? Alternate host means two different hosts are present, but they are different families belonging to different families. Example, you can take wheat stem rust. Primary host is wheat, secondary host is barberry. Wheat and barberry are different families or unrelated families. That is called generally alternate host. Collateral host, the pathogen again requires two different hosts, but they mostly belonging to same families. I will show you a couple of examples. You take a look at this wheat stem rust, alternate host barberry. Wheat leaf rust or brown rust, alternate host is Thalictrum species. Sorghum rust alternate host is sleeping beauty. We can call it as Oxalis corniculata. Okay, very important one. Here I have given wheat stem rust. Primary host is wheat, secondary host is barberry. These are all causal organisms. Hope you guys know very well. Wheat stem rust is caused by Puccinia graminis TTC. Primary host is wheat, and the secondary host is barberry. Wheat leaf rust is caused by Puccinia regondita. Primary host is wheat, secondary host is Thalictrum species. Sorghum rust, primary host is sorghum, secondary host is Oxalis corniculata. This Oxalis corniculata is otherwise called as sleeping beauty because it is look like a sleeping, a lady which was sleeping, like that it look like, that's why it's called as sleeping beauty. Okay. Pale millet rust, this question was asked a couple of times. Brinjal. So first four questions were there, right? Wheat stem rust, wheat leaf rust, sorghum rust, and pale millet rust. These are all very important ones. And maize leaf rust, alternate host is Oxalis. White pine blister rust, alternate host is pines. Cedar apple rust, alternate host, both same, primary host and alternate host same. Very rare cases it happens. And when it comes to crown rust of woods, the alternate host is Bacthan, Rhamna species. And if you see this, these are all collateral host. Collateral host means they belonging to both same families. You take a look at rice blast. Rice blast is caused by pyracularia. Primary host is rice belonging to Poaceae. And the alternate or collateral host is Lersia hexandra. Lersia hexandra is a grass species which is belonging to the same family of rice. Both are Poaceae only. That's why I told you alternate host means two different hosts are required but different families. Collateral host is otherwise called as alternative host, which means they both belonging to same families majority of the time. You can take rice BLB, bacterial billet of rice, which is caused by Xanthomonas varaceae, Pathover varaceae. Primary host is right, secondary host is Lersia hexandra. Again, same Lersia hexandra is also the family of rice, which is a grass species, right? Downy mildew of maize, primary hosts are maize and sugarcane, whereas secondary hosts are sorghum halopense, sorghum bicolor, saccharum spontaneum. More or less they belong to same cereals, right? Downy mildew or green ear of kambu, primary host is bajra, kambu, pale millet, and alternate host is echinocova. They are also grass species belonging to same. Sugarcane whip smut. Here the important one is Sporosorium cetaminium. Now can anyone will tell what is the old name or previous name of this sugarcane whip smut or causal organism of whip smut? The new name is Sporosorium cetaminium. What about the old name? Can anyone tell what is the old name of this sugarcane whip smut? You might have studied Ustilago cetaminia. The old name is, yeah, yes, Ustilago cetaminia, and the new name is Sporosorium cetaminium. Primary host is sugarcane, secondary host is also Saccharum spontaneum, which is also more or less. Yeah, these are all the couple of important diseases that is caused by every single genera of rust. You can take rust. So wheat stem rust Puccinia graminis TTC, brown rust Puccinia triticina, orange rust Puccinia striformis, brown rust of sugarcane which is caused by Puccinia melanocephala, and orange rust of sugarcane which is caused by Puccinia kuni, holy hawk rust which is caused by Puccinia heterospora, white rust of chrysanthemum which is caused by Puccinia horrida. So these are all the list of important diseases that is caused by each and every single genera. These are all the couple of rust genera that is actually caused by Puccinia species. And they have given Hemilia. Hemilia only one important disease, coffee rust, Hemilia vestratrix, and another genera is Euromyces. Bean rust is caused by Euromyces appendiculatus. Gram rust is caused by Euromyces caesari. Pea rust is caused by Euromyces pisci. Carnation rust Euromyces dianthe. Jasmine rust Euromyces habsoni. Alfalfa rust Euromyces striatus. Now my question is, this Euromyces produces what kind of teleospore?
Single cell.
Exactly. Yeah, single celled teleospore, Euromyces. You can recall in this way. Of course, it is a little bit slow process, but trust me, the results are very beautiful. And when it comes to Melamsora, linseed rust, Melamsora lini, popular rust, Melamsora medusae, castor rust, very, very important one, Melamsora ricini, willow rust, Melamsora epite, Pacospora, soybean rust, very, 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 very important one, Pacospora pacarizi. There are two kinds of soybean rust are there, Asian soybean rust and normal soybean rust. I think there was one person who are actually right now working in soybean, Saloni Mandloy. I think she know better than me about this soybean related things. But what I know is soybean rust is caused by Pacospora pacarizi. Okay. Cotton rust is caused by Pacospora gossypi. Grape rust is caused by Pacospora uvitis. And another one just now we discussed, rose rust, which is caused by Phragmidium mucronatum. And another species is also responsible, Phragmidium tuberculatum. But you remember this Phragmidium mucronatum, very, very, very important one. Rose rust is caused by Phragmidium mucronatum. And Gymnosporangium, you guys know it is a car, cedar apple rust, Gymnosporangium juniperi virginale. Okay. Yeah, these are all the some different forms of rust based on the presence or absence of couple of spore stages. Okay, so for example, U type means 0 stage, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 are present, but fourth stage, which means if the basidial stage is absent, it is called as U type. Brachytype means 0, 1, 0, 2 and 3 are present, first stage is absent, it is called as brachytype. Ophisis type means 0, 1, 3 is present, second stage is absent. Hemitype means 2 and 3 are present, 0 and 1 are absent. See, don't worry, I will provide you if you want. Again, the same thing we are going to discuss, somehow we are going to discuss in detail in the upcoming classes also. Since it is a demo, I am just telling you. At the end of this PowerPoint, I am asking you some couple of questions so that you will have an idea at what kind of questions we do expect in that way. Okay, you nothing to worry about it, since there is a lot of information, no problem at all. If you are just beginning, or if you have no idea about the basics also, no worry about it. I will provide you the basic material, go through it. If you want, I can also take the basic shortcuts, how to understand this all our concepts for your easy understanding. No worry about it, but keep on doing the things. Okay, if there is any doubts, you are paying, so you have rights to ask. So it is your choice whether you want to use me or not. Use me means in the terms of knowledge. Okay, so micro type, only 3 present, leptotype only 3 present, generally it is a micro and leptotype. So these are all couple of types based on the presence or absence of spore stages. Yeah, Uganda 99. Hope you guys know, you might have heard this Uganda 99. It is one of the very destructive and virulent race. It was identified for the first time from Uganda. So that's why it is named as UG. UG means Uganda. It is representing the country, 99 representing the year of the discovery. Actually, it is discovered in 1998 only, but widespread occurrence was reported in for the first time in 1999 in a country called Uganda. In order to identify this race, they have took first two letters. UG stands for Uganda. This represents the country of origin, and 99 represents the first strike or the heavy strike that happens in 1999. So it is named as Uganda 99. Okay, this race especially is affecting wheat stem rust only, not leaf rust, not stripe rust. It is if affecting only wheat stem rust. It is also called as TTKSK. It is a race, one of the race. Okay, and it is a highly virulent race for SR31 gene, because in wheat there are lots of genes are there, right? SR21, SR34, LR, various kinds of genes are there, right? In the current breeding program, one of the most virulent gene is SR31. This Uganda 99 is concentrating and striking this SR31 only. So now we don't have much more virulent resistant lines or genes rather than SR31. That is gene it was striking by this UG90, which means UG99 is striking the topmost variety, or sorry, topmost line or topmost gene of this breeding program. Somehow we are managing with another line called SR24, no problem. But the original race is TTKSK, or it is actually highly virulent to a gene race called SR31. Okay, and father of Indian rust, hope you guys know, KC Mehta is considered as father of Indian rust. And for easy understanding, Uganda 99, UG 99, Uganda 1999, TTKSK, SR31 breakdown, and a global threat, which means Uganda 99 is a wheat stem rust race that is first reported in Uganda. In order to for the remembrance of the country, they have named as UG99, or the year of discovery. The most virulent strain is TTKSK. It is breakdown one of the most virulent gene, that is called SR31 gene, very very important one. It is a global threat right now. And another thing is, everyone knows father of green revolution, Norman E. Borlaug. He earlierly warned about this Uganda 99 only, because he was alive almost 90 plus year. I think he was died in 2009 only. So before that, he was he warned about this Uganda 99 race is one of the upcoming global threat at the time itself. In this race concept, because when there is a scientist called E.C. Stockman, sorry, it is not E. Stockman, it is E.C. Stockman. This E.C. Stockman working on this rust pathogens, he have identified one unique phenomenon, which means uh, Puccinia graminis tritis is only infecting wheat. When he took the spores of this Puccinia graminis tritis and tried to infect the other species like barley or oats or some other kinds of things, he almost obtained very less infection, or most of the times no infection. And he also collected various other spores of this rust pathogens, and he conducted the same experiment, and he came to a conclusion that different races are existed in this wheat stem rust. That's why he introduced the races concept in the rust. So it is a very important one. Physiological races concept in the rust was first introduced by E.C. Stockman. The another contribution about the E.C. Stockman is hypersensitivity. You guys might aware of, and couple of days before, it's okay, forget about it. Anyway, this EC Stockman is also known for hypersensitivity. What is hypersensitivity? Autolysis or fungal cell death. For example, here the pathogen infection is there. In order to prevent the further spread in the multiple direction, the adjacent cells which are side to the infection, they will die or sacrifice themselves. That is called hypersensitivity, or we can also call it with various other names. This concept was first introduced by Stockman. And very important one, physiological race concept in the rust is also introduced by E.C. Stockman only. BGRI, what is BGRI? Borlaug Global Rust Initiative. And CIMMET, you guys know very well what is CIMMET, Centro International D Metro Misora Y Mainti Trigo. In simple, International Center for Wheat and Maize Research. ICARD, this both international centers are especially the leading centers where they are working especially on the rust, and creating the rust resistant lines and all those things. And couple of things, BGRI means Borlaug Rust Initiative. This Borlaug Rust Initiative, they have developed a monitor technique, of web portal called Rust Spore. They actually monitor this global rust tracking and all those things they will take care of. And it was there are a couple of agencies which were involved in this development of this rust spore. This is FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, CIMMYT, and ARS University. These are all the couple of things they are involved in the development of this rust spore. And most important thing, the main reason and purpose behind this creation of this uh, monitoring portal is just to monitor the UG99, Uganda 99 only. Okay, these are all the couple of information about rust. See, this is just a basic information only. If you listen, I can also tell you much more about this wheat rust. Yeah, couple of questions I am now. So, which gene confers the resistance against Uganda 99? So, generally SR25. This SR31 was highly, that was infected by this Uganda 99. But this SR25 is the gene which is showing moderately resistance or sometimes highly resistance to this Uganda 99. But this SR31 is severely infected by this Uganda 99 race. And the UG99 was first reported in the which country? Just now I told you UG represents Uganda. That's why I named the Uganda. And which organization monitors the UG99? FAO, BGRI, ICAR, SIGAR. Actually, it was monitored and everything is taken control by this BGRI, Borlag Rust Initiative. Some couple of questions. Basic understanding only I have given this. So we can also expect various other questions also. Okay. Yeah, now I will discuss about rice blast. So I will go a little bit fast since it is already 1 hour. Okay, bit fast I will go. I'll just tell you important points. Okay, the rice blast is caused by pathogen Magnoporthia varizae, that is a teleomorph. Pyricularia varizae is the anomorph. There are three types of rice blast is there: leaf blast, neck blast, and nodal blast. And generally this rice blast produces spindle-shaped spots. Right, the spots will be like this spindle-shaped spots. I will show you another thing. Yeah, take a look at this. Here the spots are mostly spindle shaped spots with ash color center. Okay, it produces spindle shaped spots with gray color center or sometimes ash color center also. And another thing is the pathogen produces very important pyriform conidia. The conidia is exactly look like a pear shaped, like this it look like pear shaped. That's why it is called as pyriform. Generally the spore is three celled. It consists of three cells. Take a look at this: one cell, two cell, three cell. How many septations are there? Two septations. Septation 1, septation 2. I'll show you. Yeah, take a look at this. This is the spore. It is exactly look like a pear. That's why it is called as pyriform, or we can also call it as ellipsoid. Okay. The all majority of the times this Pyricularia conidia produces three celled, which means this is the spore three celled. One, two. Take a look at this. One, two, three cells are present. How many septations? Two septations are present. This question was asked in 2019, I think. 19 or maybe 21, I think so. Yeah, this Pyricularia pathogen produces a toxins like pyricularin, alpha piconolic acid, and pyricolol. These are all the couple of toxins which is produced by rice blast. There is a blast resistant gene called pygenes. Okay, and yeah, this disease was first reported in China in 1637. At that time, Chinese used to call this disease as rice fever disease. In Japan, the disease was reported in for the first time in 1704. They called the disease as Imayachi-bo. In Italy, the disease was first reported in 1828. They called the disease as Bruno's disease. In India, the disease was first reported in 1918 in the Tanjore district of Tamil Nadu. So Tanjavur is generally called as a rice bowl of Tamil Nadu. Okay. So since they are growing all the three seasons, because the Kaveri water is available all the time, so that they are cultivating the rice three seasons. So in India, the disease was first reported in 1918, Tanjore district of Tamil Nadu. Okay. Generally, the collateral host for this rice blast is, we have already discussed, right? Rice blast collateral host. I will show you. Take a look at this. Yeah, we have discussed here rice blast. Collateral host is Lersia hexandra, one of the important thing, right? I am going back. Yeah, collateral host is Panicum repens, Lersia hexandra, Echinocova crasgali, Digitaria marginalis. These all are grass species, or I can say weed species. Okay, there is a specific fungicide for rice blast called tricyclozole. If you observe carefully, these all are the points related to exam orientation. You cannot skip any point, right? So yeah, specific fungicide recommended for rice blast is tricyclozole. The trade name of tricyclozole is beam or blastin. If tricyclozole is not there in the option, you can go with edifenfos. The trade name is hinoson. Another specific fungicide is iprobenfos. The trade name is ketagen. And for the management of rice blast, we do also recommend some of the antibiotic like blasticidin. The trade name is Blias. Cosgamycin. The trade name is Cosmin. This is a very, very important. This question was asked. Which of the following antibiotic is used in the management of rice blast disease? Cosgamycin. This question was many times I saw this question in many entrance exams as well as in the net also. What is the specific antibiotic recommended for rice blast? In the option, this option was given Cosgamycin many times. Okay. Next one. So there are some forecasting models are there. Blast class, like that. There are forecasting models are there. We do remember one more point. This is EPIBLA. This is a forecasting model that is developed by India. So EPIBLA is a forecasting model that is developed by India for rice blast. Okay, and you also remember one more thing. This rice blast is the world's first plant pathogen or fungal plant pathogen to be completely genome sequenced by Dean et al. So first plant fungal disease to be completely genome sequenced is rice blast caused by Pyricularia varese that was sequenced by Dean et al. In 2005. So rice blast is the first plant pathogenic fungal disease to be completely genome sequenced. If you want, I can also tell you the genome size, that is 40 MB, okay, 40 base pairs. And another thing is the name this Pyricularia varese was given by a scientist called Cavaria, okay, in 1891. Now another thing regarding, we have discussed rice blast. In the recent time, there is another disease called wheat blast. It is a very, very important one, and now it is giving a threat. Wheat blast is caused by Magnoporte varese pathotype triticum. It was first reported in Brazil in 1985, and in the Bangladesh in the recent time the disease become very, very, very severe. That's why in entire West Bengal, scientists gave wheat holiday. Wheat holiday in the sense, don't cultivate wheat for the next 2 to 3 hours. You know one thing, when this is disease happened in the Bangladesh, India burned 1500 hectares of this wheat. I think, no, sorry, it is not 1500, it is a 15,000 hectares of wheat was burned in order to prevent the spread of this wheat blast, because nowadays it is an emerging disease, very, 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 very dangerous disease. You remember the pathogen Magnoporte varese pathotype triticum, which causes wheat blast. In recent time in Asia, the disease was first reported in Bangladesh. In general, the disease was first reported in Brazil. Causal agent of general rice blast in the mashup kind of like preparations. So causal organism of rice blast, Magnoporte varese or Pyricularia varese. The disease is polycyclic. Conidia shape is, or the shape of the conidia is pyriform. You can also ellipsoid. Most destructive stage is the neck blast. Wheat blast was first reported in Asia, Bangladesh 2016. Effective fungicide for rice blast, tricyclazole. Resistant gene, PITA. Yeah, this is just a rice blast, how this is germinating. Hope now we have a little bit very less time. Never mind. Yeah, now these are all the questions you guys need to answer. We will finish it in 10 minutes, okay? Rust belonging to the order. Now it is time to answer. Rust belonging to the order?
Coccineals.
Yes. So previously it is belonging to the order Uridales, Uridiniales. Now it is belonging to Puccineals. Largest disease causing rust genera. Largest disease causing. Exactly, Puccinia. Demicyclic means? Yeah, demicyclic means?
Lack iridial stage.
Yes, lack of iridial stage is known as demicyclic. Alternate host for wheat stem rust and as well as leaf rust.
Barbarian.
Yeah.
Barbarian.
Yes, alternate host for wheat stem rust is barberry. What about the leaf rust?
Thalictrum isophyrum.
Yes, Thalictrum species are Isophyron fumaroides. Robigolia is celebrated. I mean, they are asking the date.
25th.
April 25th. It is generally celebrated for rust diseases. King Numa pompilus, red dogs, oxes, and foxes. Roman ritual. You remember that. Example of heterogeneous macrocyclic rust. Heterogeneous macrocyclic.
Wheat rust.
Wheat stem rust. Example. Bean rust pathogen.
Uromyces appendiculatus.
Exactly, Uromyces appendiculatus. Which spore is double celled in the wheat stem rust life cycle?
Heliospore.
Heliospore. Okay. Specific fungicide recommended for rust disease. Sorry. Yeah, oxycarboxyn. You can also remember it as plant wax. Which spore in wheat stem rust is called as a repeating spore? Exactly, iridospore. And a couple of questions related to other things. Humped-beaked iridospore is produced by?
Emilia.
Exactly, Hemilia. Crust-like teleospore is produced by?
Melamsorum.
Exactly. Alternate host for sorghum rust?
Oxalis corniculata.
Exactly. Sleeping beauty, you can also call as Oxalis corniculata. Okay. Alternate host for pale millet rust?
Brinjal.
Exactly. Brinjal. Coffee rust pathogen? Coffee rust pathogen? Hemilia vastatrix. Cedar apple rust is caused by?
Gymnosporium.
Yes, Gymnosporium juniperi verizinane. Okay. Race UG99 is specific to which disease?
Wheat rust.
Wheat stem rust or wheat rust. Okay. Physiological race of rust concept was given by? Exactly. E.C. Starkman. Okay. Another thing. Rice blast teleomorph. What is the teleomorph of rice blast?
Magnaporte.
Exactly. Magnoporte orize. Specific fungicide rice blast?
Tricyclazole.
Tricyclazole. What is the trade name of tricyclazole? Beam or bin. Okay. Yeah. Number of cells present in rice blast conidae. I am asking number of cells.
3.
3 cells. How many septations?
2
2.
septations.
Exactly. Shape of rice blast conidia?
Pyriform.
Exactly. Rice blast. Yeah. Rice blast was first reported in India in the year
1918.
1918 from which district of Tamil Nadu? Tanjavur. Okay. You remember Brodeshwar temple, one of the oldest temple. Brodeshwar temple, which were there in Tanjavur only. I went 4 times. Anyway, that is different. Anyway, rice blast antibiotic. What is the antibiotic recommended for this rice blast? Casugamycin. We discussed, right? First plant pathogenic fungi to be completely genome sequenced is rice blast. Exactly. Yeah, these are all the simple, basic samples only. There are many more waiting. Hope you guys know the new people I'm telling. These are all couple of our services. Just please go through and further guidance and all those things. And anyway, this is the last demo, and we are going to meet again from the 21st onwards. Every day there is a lecture, every day exam, every day discussion. Every day we have, the preparation schedule is going as per what we have planned. So any doubts, any clarifications, any problems, please let me know. Every single video will be recorded and it is uploaded, and a special link will be sent to your email ID. No worries about it. Okay. Yeah, I told you your subscription is a promise. So many times we told you. Then why waiting? Let's get geeky.